it's Natalie at Custom Crafts, and today I have a project for your guest bathroom or maybe your own bathroom. We took this simple empty glass jar, and I just bought that at my local craft store, and using my Cricut vinyl and my Cricut cartridges, we were able to make this really cool soap jar. And we've used some spray frost on the front that says soap, so that's a really cool feature, and I'll be showing you how to do that. And then if you take the lid off, inside are my little soaps that I have decorated and monogrammed with my last initial. So this would be a fun idea if you've got guests that are staying over at your house for the holiday and you want them to feel at home, and maybe you could decorate them holiday-ish in red and green or whatever colors you'd like to, and put welcome or anything like that. So make the project yours. I'll just be showing you how to do this little monogram today and wrap the soaps. You could also certainly keep the soaps in their package, although I found that when you do that you can't fit as many in the jar as you can if they're out of the box, obviously. So you're going to be needing some of our gorgeous SCI paper, and this is part of the Winter Song collection. It's a double-sided paper, which is really nice, and one of the sides that we'll be using has kind of a foil on it, so that's really pretty. We'll also be using the Storybook cartridge, the Georgian Basic Shapes cartridge, and the Child's First Year cartridge, or Child's Year cartridge, and the Home Accents cartridge. You don't necessarily have to use all these cartridges in your project. I mixed them up a little bit. I used different fonts and some different, for the monogram I used a font, and for the outside I used a font. If you wanted to use all the same font for your entire project, that would be great. However it fits your cartridge library. I'll also be showing you how to emboss the paper on the top using one of our brand new Cuttlebug embossing folders. This happens to be the Victoria embossing folder. I'll be using one of our brand new Glimmer Mist colors. This is Marshmallow. This is one of the brand new colors that we have started to carry, and it's just beautiful. It gives it a really nice shimmery effect. And then you'll just be needing some other things that are non-custom crafts that you might find at your local craft store. The jar and some of your favorite ribbon, the frosting spray that we used to create the soap words on the front. This is by Krylon. It's frosted glass finish. And then you'll be needing some soap. So let's get started on our project. So we're going to be cutting out the stencil that we use to spray on the stuff for the front of the jar here. And I'm just using some vinyl that I had left over from my other project. And just, you don't have to have a huge piece. It just is something that sticks to your jar. So it can be whatever color. And I'm just going to scroll down a little bit because I do need some room around my stencil. And I'm going to be getting my soap letters. So I'm going to hit font. And I think my letters are about 1 inch high. Okay. So I've got all my letters loaded in there. The P is the last letter that's showing up, but they'll all be cut. I've got my multi-cut on because this is the vinyl, and my pressure I've set at low and my speed at high. Okay, and then I'm going to hit cut. So at this point, if you wanted to use your Home Accents card to put some design on, you could certainly do that. You could also do it as a separate step. So you could put this on first, peel your vinyl off, and then do a separate piece here, which might be a little bit easier than trying to do it all together at one time. So let's unload that. Or actually, if you wanted to try the Home Accents, you could hit your line return button, and it's right here. So you want to hit line return, And then I'm going to scroll down just a tad. And then we're going to flip out the Home Accents, the Child's Ear cartridge, and put in the Home Accents cartridge and get that little doodad that we want. Okay, and that happened to be on the shift, and it was this button right here. Okay, there it is, and we'll cut that out also. Okay, so we're going to unload this, and you'll see that I have a lot of excess vinyl around both of my shapes. I'm just going to throw this through my Tonic Guillotine paper trimmer real fast and cut those down to size so that they're easier to apply to my glass jar. Okay, so I'm all set to put these onto my glass jar. So I'm just going to lay this flat and peel my vinyl off. So I have a stencil, and then I need a couple more pieces, but this is going to be for starters. So I need to put this on the jar so that I have room to put my little design down. And I also want this to be in the middle. That was pretty darn good. So I just eyeballed it, and I can see that there's a little ridge right here, and I'm pretty much in the middle there. And then I'm just going to grab the inside of my letters. In this case, I need my O. There you go. And I need my A, just like that. And I need the center of the P. So I'm ready to spray, but before I do that, and I've got some little bubbling there, but that won't matter as long as the edges of my letters are pushed down. Before I do that, I need to protect the rest of my jar. So I've just got some scratch paper here, and I'm going to be protecting the rest of the glass. The other thing is that you want to be working on a craft mat. I am working on the Tattered Angels pink mat. This is the large version, which is 2 feet by 3 feet. It's a wonderful, wonderful mat. It will protect every surface that you have, and it's heat resistant, so you can use this with Glimmer Mist as well as any other craft that you're doing. Okay, so the next step is to use our Krylon frosted glass finish. And I'm going to just give it a good shake. You just read the instructions on the bottle. And it says to shake it like 2 minutes or something. I'm not going to do that. Okay, and then once you do that, you want to set everything else aside because this does get even off of your mat. It cleans up pretty easily. You just want to spray a nice coat, and then you let that dry. And then once that dries, it probably takes 5 minutes, you can spray another coat on. And you can do a couple of coats so that you can really see a difference between the glass and your frosted finish. So you just let that dry. One thing that I will tell you is that if you make a mistake, if you pull off your vinyl too soon and you get a smudge or something like that, you can use something like Goo Gone and scrape it off and start all over again. But, you know, that's more time for you. So you want to make sure that this totally dries before you start messing with it and applying your other vinyl. So while we're waiting for that to dry, why don't we just set that aside. We'll do a couple more coats on that before we pull the vinyl off.